All right, y'all, to continue with part 2 of this review, we're starting with number 7 on your area, surface area, and volume test review. And we are asked, what is the surface area of a square pyramid with a base side of 7 centimeters and a slant height of 6 centimeters? So I'm going to do this from a net because I think this is the easiest way to see these kinds of problems when it comes to pyramids, okay? Because I've got two different shapes going on. I have that square base, which I'm told is 7 by 7 in my given information, and a slant height, which ends up being the height of these triangles, and that is 6 centimeters. So I've kind of got two things going on. I've got the surface area of this base, and that is 7 times 7. And then I need to add the surface area of these triangles. Now my triangle area equation is base times height divided by 2 for any individual triangle. But I have 4 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply that number by 4. So that gives me 49 plus 3 times 3 divided by 2 times 4 of them. And I put that into my calculator. So 9 divided by 2 times 4 plus 49 is going to give me a total of 133 centimeters. It is area, so it is squared. Now I will tell you that 3 times 3 times 4 divided by 2 is going to give you 84. So 84 plus 49 is where I got 133 centimeters squared. Okay. Turning the page, number 8. And move it down. The area of a kite. Okay. The area of a kite has the equation diameter 1 times diameter 2 divided by 2. You can find this on page 1 in your note packet on that reference page. So I'm going to fill it in, 7 times 12 divided by 2, and I'm going to get a final answer of 42 inches squared as my area of the kite. The area of the trapezoid. I also found this equation on page 1. The area of a kite is base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. So remember that base 1 and base 2 are the parallel line set. So 5 plus 3. Height makes a right angle with the base. In this case, it's 6 divided by 2. So I get 8 times 6 divided by 2. And that is going to give me 24 inches squared. It's my unit of measure, squared for area, and we are good to go. Number 10, we are asked for the surface area and volume of the rectangular prism. Now, if you have not made the change on your review sheet, I messed up putting 4 cm as this long side. It should be just this little short piece. But I like to do surface area of rectangular prisms by their face sets. So I've got 2 faces here, and I've got 2 faces here, and I've got 2 faces top and bottom. So that's the way I like to break it out. I have 2 of 8 by 4 faces. I have 2 of 6 by 4 faces, and I have 2 6 times 8 faces. So when I do all of that addition and I add them together, I get 90. Oh, I don't get 96 there. Sorry, guys. I get 96 down here. I get 48 here, and I get 64 here. Add them all together, and I get 208 centimeters squared for surface area. So I should probably make that up here. Okay. Unit of measure squared for area. I'm ready to go on to the volume. Now I found the volume of a rectangular prism, and that is length times width times what I call depth. Some people call it height, but it's going to be 6 times 8 times 4. All right. And when I put that into my calculator, I end up with 192 centimeters cubed for area, guys. Okay? Unit of measure cubed for area. Now on number 11, I need to find the surface area and the volume of a sphere with a diameter of 10 feet. Okay, so I looked up surface area of a sphere on page 18, and the equation I was given is area is 4 times pi times radius squared. I've got diameter. Diameter is 2 radii, so I'm going to say that my radius is half of that, or 5 feet. That's the R I need to use. I can just go with what I've got now. 4 times pi times the radius of 5 squared gives me 4 times pi times 25. 4 times 25 is 100. Pi is just hanging out with us. We haven't done anything with it. And if I leave my answer in terms of pi, I can certainly do that. Unit of measure feet squared for area. Okay. Now I can approximate this by multiplying out pi. 100 times 3.1415, and that is going to give me 314.15 feet squared. Okay. That is my approximate, hence the double squiggly, for the area of that sphere. Going to volume, I found the volume of a sphere on page 20, and the equation I was given is 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. And I've got my radius, so I've got everything I need. 4 divided by 3 times pi times 5 to the 3rd power. And when I put 5 to the 3rd power, 5 times 5 times 5 in my calculator, I get 125 times pi times 4/3. So if I take 4/3 times 125, I get 166.6 repeating, so I'm going to round that to 6-7. Feet, unit of measure, cubed for volume. Oh, Miss Hart did a bad thing. She forgot to leave in pi. I did not multiply by 3.1415. I certainly can do so, but I can't leave out pi. So let me just make that adjustment before I move on. Pi feet cubed, y'all. Last one, volume of a pyramid. Well, Miss Hart, I don't remember volume of a pyramid. That's on page 14 in your note packet. And I am given that equation is 1/3 base times height. Now this B is the base area of this base. So the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, okay, because it's a triangle. If it were a square, then it would be base times base or side by side. But I've got a triangle, so I'm going to use the triangle area equation. So I'm going to fill that in. 1/3 base and height, 3 times 3, divided by 2. That fills in this piece of the equation. Now I'm multiplying by height, makes a right angle, so that is 4. When I put all of that into my calculator, my answer becomes 6 feet cubed for volume. Okay. Good luck on your test. All right. I'll tell you what. Let me mark where I found a lot of these equations so that on your test you can do this a little bit faster. So for number 12, that was page 14. Okay. The surface area of the sphere was found on page 18. The volume was found on page 20. Okay. The surface area one, I just kind of did. The volume one, I just kind of did. Let me look those up real quick so I can get you a little more specific page numbers in case you get lost. Surface area of cubes, that was page 9. Okay. And then the volume of rectangular prisms and cubes is on page 11. Okay. The area of a trapezoid I found on page 1, along with the area of a kite I found on page 1. Remember, I'm not talking about the opening face sheet. I'm talking about this page. Okay. It's got the reference of all of the different shapes as far as their two-dimensional area. Going backwards, from my first video, the area of rectangles, again, I found on page 1. The area of a circle, I found... Where did I find it, Miss Hart? Where did I find it? Circles, circles, circles. Oh, here it is. I found that starting on page 16. Okay. So, number 3 is an amalgamation from page 1 and page 16. Page 1 and page 16. Let me write that a little better. And page 16. Okay. For number 4, the surface area of a cone I found on page 22. And the volume of a cone I found on page 24. Okay. You'll notice that I had to change documents for the second half of the video. Now then, this area of a regular polygon, in this case a triangle, I found starting on page 3. The surface area of a cylinder, I found at the end, page 26. And I found the volume of a cylinder on page 28. Okay. Into that. Okay. Now then, the surface area of pyramids, if you prefer to follow the note packet design, is on page 12. Okay. But this is very much the way I did it in class. They talk about making it into a net. All right. Okay, guys, good luck on your test.